An altered state of reality. I found a new toy on my computer and I'm playing with it, but it illustrates my point really well. An altered state of reality, so many of us try to get to that altered state by using drugs or shopping or alcohol or sex or video gaming or whatever it might be. But what if you could simply sit in your chair and breathe yourself into an altered state of reality? Not only would you be in an altered state of reality, you would actually feel great. You would allow your brain function to work more effectively. You would increase your immune system. And all in all, you would just feel better. Would you want to do that? Well, let's jump out of this reality and get back into what we might consider to be normal. So what is it that I'm talking about? This breathing thing that can get you to that altered state of reality. It's meditation. And I know I've talked about it on one or two of these other videos. And today I just wanted to maybe cover off a couple of other things that you maybe don't know and maybe are stopping you making meditation a regular practice, because meditation really does make a huge difference. A lot of those differences are subtle, and so they're difficult to put on an infographic. But what we do know already is it helps lowers blood pressure, it decreases the heart rate, it increases your immune system, it allows your brain function to improve so that you get more inspired, you have better ideas, and you feel more connected. And over and above that, it just helps you relax. I had somebody who's now a really good friend of mine and a client for a while who came to one of my meditation groups, and she says herself, I nearly ran out of the door on the first day because she at that time was experiencing extreme nervousness and anxiety and fear about being out, going anywhere. She was a mum of children and teenage children, and she was really struggling to leave the house. And so she started meditating. We did a little bit of other things. We used some EFT, some tapping, and just some conversation. But more than anything, she just came to meditation every week. And I did her a recorded thing with some subliminal sound in the background, just affirming her safety and all of that kind of thing. But it was still just a meditation that she would listen to. And over a period of about 8 months, it just went away. She had what she called her emergency kit. She had the CD that she could listen to, and she had the tools that we taught her in terms of breathing. And now she's traveling around the world and having a really great time, and that is completely behind her. That anxiety, that stress, that inability to leave the house and feel safe and secure, it's just gone away. And the biggest impact, as she says herself, the biggest impact that came from was meditating. And that's just one way meditation can help. It's not a religious thing. Some people still have the idea that meditation, you're sitting in a lotus position doing OMS, and it's something that only Buddhists do. Really, it's a recognized holistic health practice in this day and age. So the thing, I'm doing a survey at the moment, and the thing that's coming back most is that the highest reason for people not meditating is not making or finding the time. Now, it does tree into the conversations we've already had, that idea of the most important choice you make is what you choose to make important. Most of us wouldn't leave the house in the morning without brushing our teeth. That's an important thing. Some of us wouldn't leave the house without our first cup of coffee. We all have those different things that we will do no matter what. Now, my invitation is for you to make meditation one of those things that you do no matter what. The thing about it is, it's like training for a marathon or going into bodybuilding. You don't just get up one morning and think, I'm going to go run a marathon, or I'm going to go and compete in a bodybuilding competition. Both of those things need consistent and persistent training. You probably seek some advice from other people on how to do that. How do you start if you're going to run a marathon and you're in, like I would be, completely not having been running or doing any kind of exercise for ages. I would seek out other people's advice and I would start a training program. Now, meditation's the same. We have this idea that, I'm just going to sit down for 20 minutes and quiet my mind and I'll be okay. And you're not doing it already, so how would you expect that you're going to be able to just instantly do that? So my advice, and the way I always teach people, is to start with just 3 or 5 minutes, and be consistent and persistent with that practice. We've already talked about the magic 3 Ps: practice, persistence, and patience. So it's practicing persistently, and it's being patient that eventually your mind will start to quiet, your body will start to relax. So if you could just imagine, here's the thing. Okay, you brush your teeth. How long does that take? 3 minutes maybe? Well, what if after brushing your teeth, you go and sit in a chair and you just breathe, you're just really present with your breath for another 3 minutes? How difficult would that be? And I don't believe that anybody doesn't have the time to do that, because if you have the time to brush your teeth, you have the time to sit for another 3 minutes or even 5 minutes. And that's my recommendation, is start small. Get in the habit, create that habit. They say it takes 21 days to create a new habit in the human mind. And so if for 21 days you actually just made that a commitment to yourself, that after you've brushed your teeth, you go sit down and you breathe for 5 minutes. You could do that. I know that you could. And practice from there. So what do I mean by breathing? There's lots of different breathing practices that will help, particularly with relaxation. And the one that's my favorite, and it's really the easiest to do, is the idea of breathing out twice as long as you breathe in. So if you imagine, if you're breathing in for a count of 3, and then you breathe out for 6. Depending on your lung capacity, if you are a smoker or somebody that's got lung challenges, you might only be able to breathe in for 2 and breathe out for 4. And you get to decide how quick that pace is. You could count to 6 if you count real quick. But it's about timing it so that you breathe in for a count of 2 or 3, and then you breathe out for twice as long. Whatever that count is, that it's equal until you get to that place where you're breathing out twice as long as you breathe in. And again, it's a practice. If it's something you've never done and you're like, oh, I can't get this, just stick with it. The reason for that particular breathing practice is that it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. Here you have something called the vagus nerve. It's nothing to do with that place you go gambling. It's spelt completely differently, and it's a nerve that runs down the sternum. And through that breathing practice, that nerve is activated, which in turn activates the parasympathetic nervous system. That sounds very scientific. It's not really. It just means that the good endorphins, you get lots of inner dolphins get released into your body, and your immune system gets activated. So these are all really, really good things. So if you're just going to sit and breathe for 5 minutes, allowing your mind to be focused on breathing out twice as long as you breathe in, that's it. You're meditating. It's nothing more complicated than that. There are other stages and steps we can get to as you get into that practice. But just to start with, just 5 minutes of breathing really consciously and allowing your body, as you do that, allowing your body to relax, allowing your shoulders to drop, allowing any tension to just move through your body and be released. The medical doctor, the American medical doctor Andrew Weil, says, diet and exercise notwithstanding, if he could only prescribe one thing to every patient he sees, it would be 10 minutes of daily conscious breathing. Now, we might call daily conscious breathing meditating, or not, it's up to you. But if you just start with 5 minutes and you're consistent, you're persistent in your practice, and then you're just patient with yourself as that becomes a new habit, then you'll start to see some amazing results, and then we can take it to the next level. So if you want to alter the paradigm, alter your experience of reality, and you don't want to spend any money and you don't want to leave the house, this is the best way to do it. And as you build up that meditating muscle, it gets easier and easier and easier. So practice your meditating. I'm going to go off and do my morning practice now. Have a spectacular day, and I'll see you tomorrow.